Hey guys, Christian the Havre Card Man coming at you with a deck profile today, and you might notice that I am on Oh That Spicy's channel and that he is not here. Well, that is because he wanted to do a Prank Kids deck profile, but he didn't feel he had the knowledge for it, so he called me in to come and do this deck profile for you guys today. So this is by no means a budget build, and this is by no means a professional build. This is what I have come up with over about half a year of playing Prank Kids now, and almost exclusively Prank Kids. I've played a few other decks, but this is, for the most part, pretty much what I've been playing. Before we get into this, if you guys want to go check out my channel, I'm sure the link will be there in the description, or nothing else in the comments for you guys. And be sure to enjoy the video today. Give Oh That Spicy a like and a sub if you haven't yet. Super awesome creator and makes some wonderful content that you guys should definitely stay tuned for. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into today's deck profile. So we'll start off with the monsters here. We're running pretty box standard stuff here. Sorry, I'm working with the new setup, so this might be a little weird. So 3 Fansies, 3 Dropsies, 3 Lampsies, 3 Roxies. So that's the big part of our basic monster lineup. We have 3 more in the deck, or the last monsters that we're running. We have 3 King of the Swamp, just because this guy is another polymerization. I'll kind of get into why I'm running him later on. But basically, he's just another 3 copies of Poly in the deck to boost consistency, and he's usually the first thing that we side out for hand traps and stuff like that going into games 2 and 3. So, next up, we're going to go on to the spells now. We're running 3 of the Prank Kids Place, probably like the most expensive card in the deck right now, or at least for like the core, or if you're just looking to do a pure build, this is probably like the most expensive card that you'll encounter if you're going for the budget. So, 3 of those, then we're also running 3 Polarization, just general fusion, and I do have some combo tutorials that I'll probably show one at the end of this, towards the end of this video here, on why Polarization is the best fusion spell to pull, just because of its versatility and the fact that it does not lock you into anything. It's just a fusion spell, and it's so easy to search. Next up, 3 copies of Invocation. This is why this is not so much of a budget build. Part of it anyways. There's a couple other cards in here, but yeah, I was lucky enough to pick this guy up for $5 a piece for the Japanese version. So next up here, I'm running 3 Called by the Graves because hand traps really kill us. Ash Blossom's like the biggest problem right now. Pretty soon coming up, DD Crow is going to be a huge issue for this deck too. Also getting Called by the Grave kills this deck too, but we can't really call it by the grave or called by the grave, so you know, you just got to be able to play against those hand traps. Next up here, we have 2 Foolish Burial Goods, just because there's a couple of different spell cards and trap cards in this deck that we will send to the graveyard. One of them being a Prank Kids card, one of them being this next card, which is actually like my really interesting tech for this deck that a lot of people don't realize actually works really well. And I'm playing it as a 2 of. We have 2 Thunder Dragon Fusion, and that is because our big boss fusion monster is actually Thunder, and we'll get into that later on why this card is just insane. And the fact that you can use it with Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda, just broken. So, next up, I'm running 1 Prank Kids Pandemonium, only 1 because it's searchable, and when you activate it, it locks you into Prank Kids for the turn, but it's so easy to search out and just recycle and keep reusing, so really you only need the 1 copy of this guy. I was playing it at like 2 or 3 in other builds, but I found combos where I don't want to be locked into just Prank Kids because I have other stuff that I want to be able to do with the deck. The Prank Kids are awesome, so if that does end up being the case, I do get locked into Prank Kids. At least I've still got something decent to end on, but there's a few other cards I would like to finish off with if I have the opportunity. So next up, we have 1 Prank Kids Pranks, just because it's basically a recurring pot of avarice every turn, but you can also discard a Prank Kids card to special summon a token that you can use for link or fusion plays. It's really not like the best card ever, but once again, it's searchable and it's got some functionality to it, so we play it at 1 because it is still semi-useful. We have 1 pot of avarice just because it's so easy to fill your graveyard with 5 monsters. You can reset all of those little bits of gas for you and then draw an extra 2 additional cards to extend. So super good. I've been trying to run this card at 2, but I've just been really finding it hard. I think 1 has just been pretty ideal. You draw it at the right times and you don't see it at the wrong ones, so it works out pretty good. Last up for the spell cards here, we have 1 Terraforming to be able to get us our 4th copy of Prank Kids Place, essentially. because the Prank Kids place just counts as basically another Prank Kids monster and really just boosts the consistency of this deck, because pretty much you need to open with 2 Prank Kids cards, and a fusion spell is like the best way to open in this deck. So that's it for spell cards. We'll go ahead and move on to the few trap cards that we have in this deck. There really is hardly any. So for the Prank Kids, we're running just 1, or actually 2 Prank Kids plans, sorry. And lastly here, we have 3 Solemn Judgment, just because that extra almost Omni Negation works really well. And I've noticed it's actually saved me so many times. Of course, this is like the second option you want to sign out after you're King of the Swamp, because it is easy enough to just side out and go into other stuff. So that's it for the main deck. Let's go ahead and move on to the extra deck really quick. Alright, so now onto the extra deck. We'll start off with the fusion monsters here, because once again, that is how you start your combos and how you really get the plays going. So the best card to start off with here is actually Rocket Ride. We're running him as a 2 of, just because he really does get the job done. Tribute this guy and get both of your Link 2s back out and get some serious combos. I'll show that in the combo tutorial at the end here. Next up, we have 2 Weather Washer. I'd probably swap out the second one for a second copy of our Prank Kids Battle Butler, which this is our big boy fusion monster who is a Thunder. So we can use Thunder Dragon Fusion to bring him out. So basically, if we go through our normal Prank Kids combo, we end on a Ripper and Roaster, we get a Dodo-Doodle-Doo and a Bow Wow Bark on the field as well. And we have our Lampsies, Dropsies, and Fansies all in the graveyard with the Thunder Dragon Fusion in hand. We can use the Thunder Dragon Fusion, return those 3 monsters back to the deck from the graveyard, and bring out Battle Butler. Or if we have one of those monsters banished from, say, Roxy's effect, we can use Thunder Dragon Fusion, shuffle them back in the deck, and then we don't have to worry about them being banished anymore. It just becomes like pure advantage, and you're getting a big beefy boss boy out of the field that can tribute himself as a quick effect for cost to be a Raigeki. So super powerful there, and he's also a 3k body on top of that, who can become a 35 if you have place on the field. So I absolutely love Battle Butler. I want to throw him at 2 because there is way too many times that he gets called by the Graved. So I would really love to run an extra copy of him. I just need to order it and actually have it come in. So lastly, for the fusions here, we have 1 Mud Dragon in the Swamp. This is because we do have Super Poly in the side deck. But you can easily use a main deck too, because if you just get 2 of your Prank Kids monsters with the same attributes, and like that's the only playlift you can make, or you just want to get some added protection from one of your monsters, you can easily just go into that, and it's not even a big deal. So he's just kind of a little added bonus to play in there, but once again, mostly because we run Super Poly in the side deck, and you can use most of the Prank Kids monsters for any attribute. So super good. That's the extra deck. Oh, not the extra deck. Sorry, that was the fusion monsters. Here's the Link monsters. So we're running 2 Dodo-Doodle-Doo Link 2 monster who just requires 2 Prank Kids monsters. This is the one you'll want to go into first, because when it's Link summoned, you can search your deck for a Prank Kid spell or trap card. 9 times out of 10, I've had to search Pandemonium, but if I already have that, I search for like a place or a plan or just whatever I really need. Sometimes a pranks if that's the situation that it calls for. You know, it just really depends. It's super flexible, and then you contribute it to add 2 Prank Kids cards from with different names from your graveyard to your hand, except Link monsters. So it just basically gives you ways to recur your resources and just reuse things. Same thing goes with Bow Wow Bark. He is another Link 2. Whatever Prank Kids monster it points to gains 1,000 attack points, which is super nice. And then as a quick effect on your opponent's turn, you contribute it. All of your monsters your Prank Kids monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects for the rest of the turn, and you get to add 2 Prank Kids cards with different names for your graveyard to hand that are not Links. So both really good at recurring resources, and actually these 2 are like really important for the main Prank Kids combo. So next up here, we're running 2 Ripper and Roaster, just because I like having 2 of these guys. For the same reason I love having 2 of the Battle Butler, just because there are too many times that it gets called by the Graved or just banished in some other way, and then I don't have another copy of it to access. So I have 2 of these guys. I just already had 2 of them, whereas as Battle Butler I only have 1. So I would definitely recommend running these at 2. And this guy tributes as a quick effect and for cost to be a Harpy's Feather Duster. So Roaster is great. Basically, if you have Roaster and Battle Butler, you have full board wipe. So super great there. They also have Recursion if they're destroyed by battle or card effect, which is handy, and it does come up every now and then. Say if they like effect Veiler your stuff so you can't tribute it, you know. I mean, there's a few cases in which you're not able to use your effects, but you can use their graveyard effects to recur resources. So really handy there. Lastly, for the links here, we have one Predator Plant Verte Anaconda, just because it really adds consistency to be able to pull out any fusion spell we want. And there is actually, you could throw Defusion in this deck if you wanted to, because you can technically search out Predator Plant Verte Anaconda, if you really wanted to. Like, there is reasons to play it in Prank Kids. I might throw it in as a one-of in the future. I'm just not playing it right now because for one, I don't know where my copy is, and for two, I'm still kind of testing around with it on EDO Pro, so I might let you guys know about that in the future. Next up here for generic Link 4s, we have a Saryuja's Skull Dread, just because it's so easy to bring out 4 materials to get that draw 4, return 3, or if nothing else, even just being able to get the attack boost and being able to special summon a card from your hand. So, super great. And last of the generic Link 4s, and the biggest reason this is not a budget deck, I'm running one Apollousa Bow of the Goddess, and this is ironic if you watch the Coalition of Scrubs, because I did a card discussion on why I hate this card, and I did nothing but call it degenerate. But that is the thing about the definition of being degenerate, is that it's only ever degenerate when it's being used against you. When you're using it yourself, it doesn't feel so bad. It feels amazing. So I run it here. I got really lucky. I was able to pull it out of the one box of Rising Rampage that I opened. So I have it in my Prank Kids deck now because this is my favorite deck of all time. And I must absolutely have the Apollousa in here because it's insane, and it's actually become an integral part of my Prank Kids combo now, as much as I hate to say it. So that's it for the main and extra deck. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Like I said, I'll have a comment tutorial just at the end of this here, but I thank you guys so much for watching today, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe to Oh That's Spicy. He is a super awesome content creator, and you guys definitely need to watch him if you're not subbed yet. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Let's go ahead and get into the comment tutorials. Alrighty guys, so here we are with the Prank Kids comment tutorial. This is if we are able to draw a generic fusion spell, whether it be Invocation or Polymerization or King of the Swamp that can search us out the Polymerization. Doesn't matter, just a generic fusion spell that is not Pandemonium, so we don't get locked into Prank Kids, and then 2 Prank Kids monsters with different names. They kind of need to be the different names, otherwise you're not going to be able to get the full combo. If you do end up drawing 2 with the same name, you can play with it, it's just not going to give you the same end result. So, and then just the 2 cards over here that don't matter, so we'll go ahead and open up here with the Invocation in this case, using our Lampseas and our Dropseas to pull out of our extra deck. The Prank Kids Rocket Ride, we'll put it over here on the far right zone. And I'm sorry if this looks a little weird. I have the camera backwards just because of the setup I have. I don't have as much space as I would like to, but actually it works just fine, so I'm not even mad about it. So we'll get that. Now we'll have our Chain Link build here. We'll have Lampseas be Chain Link 1, Dropseas Chain Link 2, and Rocket Ride Chain Link 3 for chain blocking so we don't get ashed on either of the other 2. They can still very well be called by the grave, or if your opponent responds to your Invocation with the DD Crow and they banish your graveyard, well then yeah, problems are going to be had. So anyways, we will use our 2 monsters. We'll get Rocket Ride's effect first, then we'll cut his attack points in half so that he can attack directly this turn, which doesn't matter because it's turn 1. And then Dropseas will activate so that we gain 1,000 life points. We can special summon out Roxy's. Also, fair warning to you guys, this deck is very vulnerable to Nibiru, just so you know. So then Lampseas will burn our opponent for 500. We'll get Fansies, so we'll shuffle back up here. Doesn't really matter too much. So we'll link 2 here with Fansies and Roxy's. So now we can pull out our Prank Kids Doodle-Doo, and it doesn't really matter too much how you do the placement on these as long as your Rocket Ride is away from your Link monsters, because you need to have space for your Link arrows. So just make sure that you've got a spot under the extra monster zone open so that you can go into your place. So now these 2 will activate their effects. We can chain block with the Doodle-Doo as Chain Link 3 if we want to, but he's probably going to be more important, so we're going to have him be Chain Link 1, Fansies, Chain Link 2 because he's more important than Roxy's, and we'll have Roxy's Chain Link 3. So if we had place on the field and it was going second, we could use the place to reduce our opponent's monster's attack points, with Doodle-Doo being summoned as the 4th chain to chain block once again. But so we'll use Roxy's effect here. We'll just banish this card, doesn't even matter what it is. We'll draw. So now Roxy's can special summon. And then Fansies will now allow us to send, it's very important, we'll send the Prank Hits Plan to Graveyard if we don't have one in there already, because we need that set up to be able to reset all of our resources again later, should we need it. And then Fansies will special summon us out another Prank Hits monster. It doesn't matter what they are at this point, because you just need the link materials. That's the only thing that really matters. So now from this point, we can link 3 here, or link 4, my bad, into our Apollosa Bow of the Goddess. I'm not going to bother putting counters on her right now because I don't have my dice out. I wasn't thinking. But she's at 3 negates, so we have an Apollosa with 3 negates, and that is past 5 summons. But, you know, if we were going to get Nibiru, it would have already happened, and we wouldn't have been able to pull out Apollosa anyways, so it doesn't even matter. You know, now we've got her, so from this point on, we're pretty much free to make our moves. So now we contribute our Rocket Ride. We'll bring back out... Oh, I did forget to search with Doodle-Doo. With him, we would have searched for our Pandemonium, because that's what we need at this point. If we already had it in hand, we'd probably search for the plan, because we could actually use that to link on our opponent's turn and get even more materials and just pull even more stuff out of the deck and do some crazy things. So, yeah, so we got our Pandemonium now. And we tributed our Rocket Ride, so now we will special summon back out our Doodle-Doo, and then it's important that we either pull out a Lampsies, a Dropsies, or a Fansies, and then we do not pull out the Roxies for this particular combo. So I'm just going to special summon out Lampsies because it doesn't really matter too much. Tribute off our Doodle-Doo, so that now we can add Dropsies and Fansies, or whichever, you know, just whatever 2 you were missing, because this way you can set your Prank Hits Pandemonium and then do whatever else you have in your hand. If you got extenders, use those, you know, whatever. So now we have the Fansies, Dropsies, and 2 other cards in our hand, plus a Pandemonium face down with an Apollosa that has 3 negates. So now we go to our opponent's turn, we have Apollosa to give us 3 negates, and then on top of that, we have our Pandemonium, so we can just flip that on our opponent during their main phase, use Fansies, Dropsies, and Lampsies all to go into our big boy Battle Butler here. So then now we have a Raigeki, 3 negates, and then we get 3 additional bodies from all these guys. Plus, we can get extra stuff from the graveyard, extra burn damage, extra life point gain. So, essentially, you just created some really fun stuff. And once again, if you already had the Pandemonium in hand or you had a plan in hand, you could have that set face down as well, be able to flip that up, and then use the 3 materials that you just summoned to go into another link play. And one of the new materials that you summoned would have been a Roxy's most likely, so you can use him to special summon out another monster and go into a link 4 on your next turn, which would give you a Ripper and Roaster. So, super, super good there. So yeah, you can use your Apollosa to negate stuff, and then if they go into the battle phase to try to kill it, you just tribute off your Battle Butler, kill the monsters they have and their battle phase, and once again, you still have more materials on your field to work with, and you can do more stuff next turn. So this is the going first combo. The going second's really not too much different. The going second, you're more just doing normal Prank Hits combos, just going for your Battle Butler and Ripper and Roaster so you can get a board wipe, or maybe even just be super aggressive and push for the OTK. Doesn't even matter. I did play a Boral Sword Dragon in this deck at one point. You probably easily could. If you wanted to swap out the Mud Dragon in the Swamp, you could easily do that and put a Boral Sword here instead. I actually will probably do that and swap it back in. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this comment tutorial and this deck profile. I really had a lot of fun doing this, and huge thank you to Oh That's Spicy for letting me do this video on his channel. Prank Hits are my favorite deck of all time, and I've been doing nothing but playing them for the past 6 months ever since I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm very happy with this deck, and I love everything that it's become. I honestly, at first, thought it was just going to be a really gimmicky fun deck, but I feel like it's a very strong rogue strategy, and one that people have kind of been overlooking because of the fact that it's a fair combo deck and not just a ridiculously overpowered one like Adamantimators. It's just fairly well balanced and a lot of fun to play. That's why I play it so much, just because it is ridiculously fun just being able to spam out all this different stuff and just do some crazy things with it. So thank you guys again so much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you hopefully on my channel, or if nothing else, to see more of you on Oh That Spicy channel. You guys are amazing, and we will see you next time. Remember to have fun and make your move. Peace out.